The final day of the 2013 regular season for the Columbus State Lady Cougar soccer program as they get set to wrap things up before they head into Peach Belt Conference tournament play. A lot on the line as the Lady Cougars can capture a share of the conference title for the first time since 2010. Hello, everyone. Welcome into the Walden Soccer Complex on the campus of Columbus State University. Stephen Williams here with you on Cougar Sports TV as the Lady Cougars get set to take on the Lady Braves of UNC Pembroke here on this Saturday afternoon. The Lady Cougars coming in here 12-5 overall, 8-2 inside conference play, and a win today would clinch a share of the Peach Belt Conference regular season championship here on their home turf for the first time since 2010. For the Lady Braves of UNC Pembroke, 7-8-2 for the year, 4-4-2 in conference play, a team that's already into the Peach Belt Conference tournament, but playing for seeding purposes as they roll forward later on this afternoon. For Columbus State, they'll start like this. It'll be Malin Parsons, the true freshman in goal, starting for the third straight time as she's picked up victories in the last two games. Out there along with Mandy Janowitz, Casey Davis, Shelby Rowling, and Chelsea Pearson, Jessica Sauer, Rebecca Calder, Kelsey Pelletier, Nicole Corsione, Andy Larice, and Taylor Marks, the 11 that Jay Etlick will put out in the field in the home white uniforms with the navy blue lettering and numerals, and they'll be working left to right as you're looking at it. On the opposite side for UNC Pembroke in their road blacks with the white numerals and lettering, they'll go with Claire Tracy, a freshman in goal who we'll get into over the course of the afternoon. Not a true goalkeeper, but in goal now for Lars Anderson. Rayshana Campbell, Julie Fisher, Sarah Lundberg, along with Savannah Stiles, Jasmine Jordan, Amber Watkins, Michelle Brown, Michelle Hernandez, Cherie Gesson, and Julia Nightorp, the 11 that are out there for Lars Anderson in his 13th year at the helm at UNC Pembroke. Like Jay Etlick, the only head coach that program has ever seen. 13 seasons for Lars Anderson, 10 for Jay Etlick now. As we get set to get underway here in Columbus, Georgia, UNC Pembroke working right to left and with the opening possession. Lady Cougars off back-to-back victories, a win a week ago today, 1-0 on the road at Landers, stopped a two-game losing streak for them. And then on Wednesday night, picked up a victory here at the Walden Soccer Complex, 2-1 victory for them over Montevallo. A chance today with a win to wrap things up for them. A share of the regular season title on the line and a second seed overall in the Peach Belt Conference tournament, as that one too far out in front of Mandy Janowitz. Ends up over the end line for a goal kick coming up. Lady Cougars can be anywhere between 2 and 3 in the Peach Belt Conference tournament, even though they can tie for first overall. Clayton State's wrapped up that number 1 spot as Corsione works on the near side. The cross into the center finds the foot of Pearson, and she'll fire one left of the net. UNC Pembroke in the 7th spot right now, can be anywhere 7 or 8, depending on the result today and the results of other games that happen across the Peach Belt Conference. It's been an odd year for the Lady Braves over the course of this season. Started the season with a couple of goalkeepers on their roster, including the preseason all-conference selection at goalkeeper in Brittany Bennett. Lost her to a knee injury against Georgia College back on the 12th as Columbus State gets the throw-in coming up on the near sideline. Down both of their goalkeepers, they ended up having to go on the fly. Julia Nightorp spent 5 minutes in goal finishing out that Georgia College match as this one's flicked into the box. The attempt that time by Larice was cleared away. Janowitz keeping it alive as Pelletier tries to run it down the left side. Deflected away by the defender in the far corner. Fisher trying to defend up. It'll end up in a corner kick for Columbus State on the far side. Nightorp filled in, and then in the game they had against Tusculum on the 14th, Lars Anderson 15 minutes before the game, pulls out Claire Tracy out of the warm-up line, says, hey, let's teach you how to play goalkeeper, and she's done so ever since. Marks will center one into the box. Rowland got a head on it, and it'll sail out wide right. Pearson can't run it down. Another goal kick coming up. So Claire Tracy, the freshman from Rhinelander, Wisconsin, forced to play in goal. She's played now 6 matches in goal, 2-2-2 for the year. Has given up 9 goals overall. Does have a couple of shutouts so far. Played to scoreless draws with North Georgia, and then most recently on Wednesday night against USC Aiken, ended the game in a scoreless draw. And UNC Pembroke changing their style of play up to fit the lack of goalkeeping they have. Just 1 forward on the field, 5 of them in the midfield, 4 in the back line. So 9 players playing defense for them. Thus the reason they end up with scoreless ball games. Davis, the long lead pass, gets over everybody's head. It'll sail out right of the net, and the goal kick will come up. Tracy not the one that does the goal kicks as the non-traditional goalie. It's Stiles, the freshman from Richlands, North Carolina, that steps back and will spray it away from the net. UNC Pembroke coming off the tie against USC Aiken on Wednesday night. Knocked off Young Harris 3-2 in overtime a week ago today. Actually played overtime in each of their last 2 matches, as this one's hit forward, can't be kept in play off the foot of Lundberg, right into the CSU bench, and it'll be a Lady Cougar throw. Corsione flicks it forward. Pearson touches it on as well. Finally cleared away. Stiles the one who hit it back towards midfield. Columbus State on the foul. Shelby Rowling knocking the defender to the ground. As we roll into the 6th minute of action here at the Walden Soccer Complex. Clayton State's already wrapped up a share of the Peach Belt Conference regular season title. The Lakers undefeated in conference play, but with 3 ties left the door open for other teams to share it. Columbus State with a victory today would move into a share of it, as this one will sail over everybody as well. And it'll be Rebecca Calder that clears it. It can turn into a 3-way tie if Lander were to win in action later on today. They're at Armstrong down in Savannah at 3:30 this afternoon. So after this one's over, those two will go head-to-head, and Lander with a victory will earn a 3-way tie if Lander and Columbus State both win. So both teams, with their fate in their own hands, win and you share the title. Another Columbus State corner kick coming up again from the far side, and again they'll go short corner as they drop it back to Larice outside the box. The centering pass headed away that time by Brown. To the far corner, Pelletier trying to track it down, able to get to it just inside the corner post. And Larice will try the centering pass again, this time deflected away by Stiles. And the shot from Pelletier, high and wide of the mark. Columbus State's 2nd of the match. Lady Cougars haven't won a regular season championship in the PBC since back in 2010. This year, actually, the first year, as the throw belonged to Pembroke, the first year since 2005 that someone other than Armstrong or Columbus State has actually been either the regular season or the tournament champion. That was Clayton State that year as well in both. But it's been Armstrong each of the last 2 years. They're not going to be on top of the conference regardless of results today. Columbus State and Lander looking to join Clayton State at the top spot. There's never been a three-way tie at the top of Peach Belt Conference soccer in the 14 years that it's been going, as Chelsea Pearson was called for that foul on the far side of the box. Janowitz into the center. Tucked away that time, and a hit out by Jordan. Again, you see the style of how the play is going to be. UNC Pembroke willing to just sit back and take attack after attack after attack from Columbus State and try to keep them out of the net, not worried about getting on the board themselves for the most part. Called her to the near side, and Pearson couldn't control the touch. It bounces over the sideline, and Pembroke with a throw. Before that happens, though, they'll have a sub come on. Carolina Sanchez will sub in place of Gessen. Down the near sideline, touched that time by Campbell, the sophomore forward out of Wilmington, North Carolina. Couldn't keep it in play. Over the side it goes, and Columbus State with it back. Final day of the regular season, Columbus State will host a conference tournament match on Tuesday. Time and opponent still to be determined. All of that will be known, opponent at least, will be known after all the action today. They'll decide the time a little bit later once they balance in travel factors and who it is that has to come here to Columbus. But Tuesday night, they'll be here at the Walden Soccer Complex for the opening round of it, the quarterfinals. Semifinals will be played Friday in Evans, Georgia. The championship to be played Sunday over in Evans as well. Pelletier in the center of the box, working one-on-one that time with the defender Stiles. Had it taken away, cleared to the near corner, where it's kept alive and finally cleared over the side by Julie Fisher. There is a scenario where 3 days from now, these same two teams play right here on this field again, depending on how things shake out today. High ball hit into the box, headed away. Kept alive by Marks. Off to Corsione, who leaves it for Rolling. Hits one right across the ground. Pearson tried to touch it in the center, got through everyone, and just left of the far post. Cleared away on the goal kick by Stiles. Big day of athletics across the board for Columbus State. Soccer match here for a chance at a conference title. Volleyball on the road starting up at 2 o'clock. They'll take on Armstrong down in Savannah, a team that's 21-0 for the season. And then women's basketball at 3 shortly after this one ends. First exhibition game of the season from the Lumpkin Center as they'll take on Reinhardt College. So a lot of stuff going on across the board for Columbus State Athletics. Corsione on the run now. Pearson working out to her left. A little too far out in front and kicked away from, but a foul coming up from behind. I believe it was Stiles that was called for it. Wrestling with Corsione for the ball. The first one committed by UNC Pembroke and the Lady Cougars with a free kick opportunity. Casey Davis, the junior from Boca Raton, will step up from her defensive position to take the free kick. A low line drive right of the post and out of bounds. In time, a low driving one, but ended up wide right. And again, it'll be Styles that'll hit this one away. The ball hasn't spent much time across midfield on the UNC Pembroke side of things. Again, working without a traditional goalkeeper. They play down a forward, play with 5 in the midfield and 4 on the back line as another foul coming up. This one against Julie Fisher of UNC Pembroke. And again, another free kick opportunity for CSU. This one, though, from the near side, outside the corner of the box. Davis again the one that'll hit it. This time a low one on the ground, deflected away. Nitorp got a foot on it, and she clears it off. Janowitz far side, deflected away from her by Brown, and CSU will have it on the deep throw, and it'll be Pearson to the far side. That'll be the one to toss it in. Columbus State trying to close it out with a 3-game winning streak this season. This one's flicked into the box by Corsione, kept alive. Pelletier had a shot at it, deflected, blocked by Tracy in the net, off of a UNC Pembroke defender and into her arms. It was a failed clear attempt that time. Found the foot of Pelletier, but Tracy in the right spot, deflected it with her legs, earns her first save, and stops the scoring opportunity. Corsione right back into the box for Janowitz. The cross that time blocked and cleared. Hernandez, the one that time, stepped in the way. Janowitz again in the far corner. Earns the corner kick for the Lady Cougars, as it was deflected out by Sanchez. That'll be the problem for the Lady Braves all afternoon. There's no one to outlet it to, so every time they try to get on the move, nobody out in front. It's been turned over each and every time, and the Lady Cougars go back on the attack. They're going to try to play defense for all 90 minutes. Taylor Marks on the corner opportunity. Swings it into the box. Punched away by Taylor. Kept alive, and Shelby Rolling has found the net. Tracy tried to punch it out. It stayed in the box, and Shelby Rolling in the right place at the right time with the left foot. Puts it into the right side of the net, and the Lady Cougars are on the board first in the 16th minute of action. For Shelby Rolling, that's her 3rd goal of the season. Go along with a couple of assists. Her first 2 coming in set-piece situations off free kicks. That one coming off a corner as well. Long lead pass that time. Well too far out in front. Of course, Corsione was trying to chase it. But Columbus State on the board first. 16th minute of action. They lead UNC Pembroke now 1-0. And we'll see if the strategy changes at all for the Lady Braves. See if they choose to start attacking at all, if they're going to stay defensive. Lady Cougars scored first on Wednesday night in the match against Montevallo. Scored early in the first half as Pearson called for the foul from behind. They scored early in that one in the 11th minute. Led 1-0 for much of the first half, and then in the 39th minute, the match was evened up with a Montevallo goal. They took it to halftime at 1 apiece, but it was early in the second half when the Lady Cougars got the goal that ended up being the difference in the match, as Nicole Corsione netted her 9th of the year. Continue to add to her team lead. Ended up being the game winner on Wednesday night. Says Nitorp trying to leave it forward. The only one out in that area of the field, though, is Campbell. She was in the center, and that ball ends up in the CSU bench. Janowitz looking to chase that one down. Pass too far out in front, ends up in the hands of Tracy. Lady Braves with it, one of the rare times on their side of the field, and had it taken away by Larice. Quickly ended up back on the CSU side. This is Campbell with it. Off to Nighthorpe, but again, a host of CSU players in white right there in the center of the field. Nighthorpe trying to work in between three defenders that time. Ends up back with Sanchez on the near side of the field for the Lady Braves. Still shotless so far in the match. Trying to change that here. Started to take one. Hernandez, though, had it deflected right away. Still kept alive. And finally, Shelby Rolling will just clear it across midfield. It's 6-0 right now in the shot department. Columbus State in front. And Shelby Rolling has made it a 1-0 match with her third goal of the season. Corsione tangled up that time. Ended up going down. And a late whistle finally comes in with a foul call against UNC Pembroke. Their third. 3 fouls called against both sides so far. Casey Davis again to take the free kick. As Columbus State's put 4 in the box. Janowitz on the back end of that one. Didn't have the angle to head it in. Got a head on it anyway, but it goes out wide right. These two sides meeting for the 15th time in program history. The 15th meeting matches the highest total that Columbus State has ever played against the same opponent. They've played Armstrong 15 times as well, as Shelby Rolling hit with the foul that time. Columbus State, though, dominated the series between these two, 11-2-1 in the previous 14. These two have met also 5 times in postseason play, including back in the 2008 Conference Tournament Championship. Columbus State winning that one. Davis high on the clear. Staring into the sun that time was Hernandez. Run into by Kelsey Pelletier. Hernandez the one down on the field. Pelletier called for the foul. Hernandez shakes it up. Hops up and walks away. It'll be a free kick coming up for Pembroke. Styles the one just inside the midfield circle. On the plus side of the field for the Lady Braves. Set to put one towards the box. High into the air. Casey Davis, the one gets a head on it. And finally cleared by Janowitz to the near side of the field. Fisher couldn't keep it in bounds, and CSU on the run with the quick throw. This is the same 11 that Jay Enlick went with on Wednesday night. Mandy Janowitz in at a starting forward position. Allows Kelsey Pelletier to play in the midfield as they try to leave it through for her. Ends up picked up by Tracy in the box. Shelby Rolling also able to play in the midfield as she moves up from her center back position. Trade spots with Jessica Sauer, the freshman, who drops back defensively in her place. So it allows Rolling in a position right there to play a little bit further up on the field. Also, again, Malin Parsons in net. taking over in place of Miosha Hatcher. The reigning Peach Belt Conference goalkeeper of the week is Parsons after she shut out Lander on Saturday. Allowed just the only goal to Montevallo on Wednesday night in a victory. And so far, so good for her. Through the first 22 minutes and change of this first half against UNC Pembroke. Janowitz, left side of the box, crosses it. I didn't get all of it, and Tracy easily comes out to scoop it up. Pearson up in the air, had it deflect off the body. It was cleared away by Fisher. Again, Columbus State on the attack throughout this one so far. UNC Pembroke willing to just sit back and take the barrage on and hope to limit them when they fire them at the net. So far, out of the first 7 shots, only one of them has been able to find the back of the net. But they find themselves down 1-0 and without a shot so far on the board. 24th minute of action here on Cougar Sports TV. Stephen Williams here with you. Regular season finale. Lady Cougars aiming for a Peach Belt Conference regular season championship. A victory does that for them, and so far they're headed in that direction. Cleared into the second row of stands that time. Was the ball by Michelle Brown, so Columbus State will have it. And Jay Entlick will run on his first sub of the match. Jackie Hellett, the junior forward for CSU, comes on. Chelsea Pearson will get a rest for the remainder of the half. Pelletier looking right as Becca called her up from her cornerback spot, trying to lead it down the right sideline, back into the center, rolling in an effort to get it to Corsione. A little too strong and over the end line. And we'll get another CSU sub. Mandy Janowitz, another forward, coming off to get a break. Shea Wilby will slide into the midfield, and it'll allow Kelsey Pelletier to move up and fill the forward spot. So Corsione, Pelletier, and Hellett along the front line for Jay Entlick's crew. Corsione ended up with goal number 9 of the season for her the other night as she continues to try to climb up the list of top scorers as freshmen in Columbus State history. Next goal for her this year would make her one of 7 players all time that have reached double figures. Last one to do so was Kiana Nicholson back in 2011. She finished with 10. Stephanie Parrish back in 2007 holds the record. Her freshman season resulted in 17. So not likely that Nicole gets there, but several of the numbers that she can get to. Hellett on the run to the right side of the box. Defender in front of her is Stiles. Dribbles right past her, tries to center it up, finds the foot of Brown, and finally cleared away, and then cleared in the wrong direction, and it'll roll out just inside the corner post where CSU will end up with a deep throw in. Shelby rolling, the one who will take the throw this time for CSU. Into the center, got over the head of Jackie Hellett, still loose in the box, and finally punched away. It's a couple of times now the Lady Braves have struggled to clear it away on a loose ball right in front of the net. The first time resulted in a Shelby rolling goal. That time finally cleared away before Pelletier could finish it home. Will be in the center that time, being grabbed. Hernandez, the defender, grabbing at the jersey, trying to keep her from the ball. And our referee in the center, Brandon Adams, picked up the foul, gave CSU the opportunity. 4 fouls now against UNCP, 5 against CSU to this point. Pelletier working on Fisher. Fisher knocked it away from her and then knocked it off of Pelletier on the near side. UNC Pembroke's been right about where people expected them as far as the conference race goes. As this throw goes into the box, Pelletier centers it, but there was nobody there on the backside to try to knock it in. I believe that time Tracy went to pick it up. I think she may have actually been out of the box when she did so. Referee in the field didn't see it, but the one on the far sideline had his flag in the air. CSU was asking for it. Finally got the attention of the referee. So they'll go put the ball over at the spot where Tracy touched it. And it'll be almost like a corner kick for CSU now. It's Pelletier that stands on the outside of the box, set to hit it to the center. Chips one into the middle. It's loose. The goalkeeper out of position. Corsione trying to get to it. Couldn't get a foot on it. Cleared away and kept alive. Calder kept it alive and Hellett now on the near side will center it. Goes over the head of Rolling. Pelletier with the right foot, left of the post. So CSU with opportunities there. But the final attempt ends up wide left. And it stays a 1-0 contest. Again, though, UNC Pembroke, although it's been an odd year, right about the position in the conference that they were expected to be in. They were voted 6th in the preseason. They sit 7th right now. Again, though, with everything that's happened to them, it's been quite an odd year. They had one of their top forwards ruled ineligible before the season started. Lost another one of their field players to an injury before losing their goalkeeper, Brittany Bennett, to an injury. So not working with very many numbers. Lars Anderson in his 13th season there at Pembroke, saying that in his 20 years that he's coached soccer, he's not really experienced anything like this to this point. But his team's made the most of it. They've guaranteed themselves an opportunity. It's all that they can ask for at this point. They're going to be in the conference tournament where anything can happen. And quite a wide open field it'll be when the conference tournament starts next week. Corsione looking for Hellett out in front of her too far. Cleared away, but CSU with offensive players littered across the field, able to keep it on their side. That ball deflected off of Corsione. It goes over the end line, and another UNC Pembroke goal kick. Working down near 13 minutes to go in the first half. 1-0, Columbus State in front. Shelby Rolling back in the 16th minute, scoring her 3rd goal of the year to give Columbus State its 1-goal separation so far. Again, a victory means a share of the regular season championship for Columbus State and also the number 2 seed in the Peach Belt Conference tournament next week. I was talking with Jay Itlick after the match the other night, And he was saying this year more than any other year that he can remember, it's such a wide open field heading into next week's conference tournament. Any of 5, 6, 7 teams out of the 8 that have a better than decent shot at winning the 3 games it takes to win and get the automatic bid into regional play. No clear-cut favorite going into the conference tournament when it starts next week. Corcione drops it back for Andy Larice. The crossing pass that time over the head of Pelletier and cleared away by Nighthorpe. Again, UNC Pembroke still just sitting back, letting Columbus State continue to attack, and every time it gets near the box, trying to hit it as far away as possible. Just clear it out of the zone. Lady Braves still without a shot on the board. Columbus State has taken 8 to this point. Only 2 of those have been on net, though, for CSU. Tracy saved a shot by Pelletier, and then Rollings that went into the goal. Hellett on the move, far side of the field now. 3 players off to her right as she looks for somewhere to go back to the center. Finally drops it backward for Larice. Brown, the defender, stepped in the way of the pass, cleared it, deflected off of Larice's foot, and Pembroke has it back. Pelletier trying to track from behind Nighthorpe that time, who was able to get to it. Campbell tries to hit one forward. It was headed that time by Davis, right into the arms of Malin Parsons, who has been very stagnant for most of the afternoon. Hasn't had to do very much back there in the net. Sure, she's just fine with it, though. Spent the majority of the afternoon on this side of the field so far. As we hit 10 minutes to go and work in the 36th minute here at the Walden Soccer Complex in Columbus, Georgia. Brown will just clear it over the sideline where CSU will once again throw it in. Again, not only does UNC Pembroke sit back and just have to play defense because of the roster limitations they have, but they also don't have very many players to sub in. So they don't get very many breaks over the course of the match. UNC Pembroke with a throw coming up, but a sub coming in before that happens. Hannah Baisden, a freshman from out of North Carolina, will come on. She'll replace Amber Watkins. So Baisden will move into that midfield area where Lars Anderson has 5 players, 5 in the midfield, 4 in the defensive line, and Campbell still the only forward. Out in front for the Lady Braves, Pelletier leaves it off for Shea Wilby. Plays it backward for Calder, who stings one into the center. The only one home, though, is the defender Stiles. Rolling on the chip pass. Finds the chest of Pelletier. Again, not too many holes with this many defenders back. CSU still with possession, though. Marks will fire one at the net, high and over the crossbar with the left foot. Again, Stiles the one taking the goal kicks, with Claire Tracy, the midfielder, playing goal now for Pembroke. So far, though, she's stopped one of the 2 shots that she's been forced to so far. Has punched a couple out during set piece moments, but finds herself right now on the wrong side of the scoreboard with Columbus State leading at 1-0 with under 8 minutes to go in the first half. Fan Appreciation Day here at the Walden Soccer Complex. Final game of the regular season, usually reserved for Senior Day. But Jay Itlick's bunch without a senior on the roster. So no Senior Day festivities today. Fan Appreciation Day meant everyone was admitted for free to the Walden Soccer Complex. Good crowd on hand for a Saturday afternoon tilt. Better crowds around here usually on the weeknights. But a decent one on hand for a perfect afternoon here in early November in Columbus. This is Nytorp trying to get the first shot off for Pembroke, unable to do so. It was cleared away. Columbus State on the counter now. Forward it goes, looking for Corsione. Has Pelletier off to the right, Wilby to the left. Center of the field, goes left with it, but it ends up on the foot of Stiles, who cleared it away. Marks kept it alive. She'll leave it for Pelletier, right side of the box. Kelsey working around the defender. The centering pass deflected. And finally out of the box. Shelby Rowland keeps it alive. Her shot blocked. Lundberg got a leg that time on the rip attempt from Shelby at the edge of the box. Lady Cougars into double figures now in shots at 10. And looking for another here. Jackie Hellett trying to get to the near corner. The ball rolled over the sideline, though, and UNC Pembroke will throw it in deep from their own end with 6 minutes now showing on the clock. Lady Braves just trying to survive the final few minutes here. Take this one at 1-0 into the locker rooms. Corsione back flicks it with the head into the box, cleared away. Onto the foot of Rolling now. Working against Nytorp, crosses it with the left and got all the way through the box. Right past Sanchez, right past Corsione, into the far side of the field. Corsione gets it again, working on the left side of the box, dribbling in. Finally, the double team, the help from up front by Stiles, took it away from her. Davis towards the box, ends up with Shea Wilby. Drops it off for Hellett, who will play it backward. Again, all about spacing right now for the Lady Cougars. Marks leaves it for Pelletier, touches it off to Hellett. Hellett looking to cross, dribbles around the defender, and with the left foot she'll take the shot off the crossbar. Alive in the box still, and finally cleared away by Brown. Hellett let it fly that time and drilled it right off the crossbar. Lady Cougars on Wednesday night had a couple of shots, one that hit the post, a couple that hit the crossbar late that could have put the match away. Instead, they weren't able to finish it off and kept Montevallo alive. Hellett again outside the box, had it bumped away from her. Closing it on 4 minutes to go. As Columbus State tries to add a little cushion to it before halftime. Larissa's pass intercepted, cleared away. But again, every time UNC Pembroke tries to clear, there's nobody out in front to clear it to. So it turns right back into possession for the Lady Cougars in all white. Cross that time by Marks, headed away. Pelletier a chance to sting it. And that time saved by Tracy in the net. The original ball got over the head of Tracy. It was headed away by Fisher. The heading attempt, though, ended up on the foot of Kelsey Pelletier from just inside the 18. And then moving to her left, Tracy was able to knock it off of her hands, but it went over the end line, and a corner kick coming up for Columbus State. Marks on the corner attempt. Into the center of the box. It's still loose. Hellett with an opportunity at it. Saved that time by Stiles, who deflected it away. Still into Columbus State possession. Larice working with Sanchez on the far side, battling for it in that corner. Going to say Larice was the last one to touch it, though, and Pembroke ends up with a throw with under 2.5 minutes left. 1-0 the score. Shelby rolling the difference in the match so far, taking a deflected ball in the center of the box and putting it in the right side of the net. That one coming back in the 16th minute. Since then, we've stayed stagnant at 1-0. Columbus State has had its opportunities. Hit the crossbar once, had a couple of shots saved. Touched away that time from Pelletier by Fisher. So it'll stay in Columbus State's possession. Under 2 minutes to play in the half. Still time now for Columbus State to add another one to it. They'll leave it for Marks. Into the center. Headed away. Bounces around the box. Rolling tried to leave it forward. Had it deflected and it's cleared out. Campbell now on the move. On the dead sprint. One of the few times she's been in possession of the ball. Tried to leave it forward that time for her teammate Baisden. But Malin Parsons, for one of the few times, is forced to come out. Picks up the ball, and she will punt it away.
1 minute remaining in the half. 1 minute.
Down under 60 seconds to go now. In this first half, Corsione lets it fly from outside the box. Deflected, finds Wilby, her shot. High and wide. So Columbus State with 2 more attempts that time. Neither one of them finding the net, though. 14 shots now for Columbus State. Still a goose egg on the board for UNC Pembroke, but just 1-0 in the scoring column. Offsides flag put up on the far side of the field against Campbell that time of UNC Pembroke. As we hit 13 seconds to go, Columbus State will try to hurry into one more opportunity at the end. Davis with the free kick. It gets over the head of Corsione, and we'll go to the locker room with Columbus State leading at 1-0 here at the Walden Soccer Complex. The Lady Cougars on the board with a 16th minute goal on the part of Shelby Rolling, and that's all that's happened. There was a corner attempt from Taylor Marks, deflected. Rolling finished it off the deflection. Her 3rd goal of the season, and Taylor Marks getting the assist, her 4th of the year. And since that point, nothing else has happened in terms of balls going into the back of the net. 14-0, Columbus State leads it in shots. UNC Pembroke playing defense all afternoon, but they have not taken anything on the offensive side of the field. Columbus State, though, with just 1 goal over the first 45 minutes. And that's how they'll take it into the locker rooms here at halftime at the Walden Soccer Complex. They'll take the 15-minute break. We'll take much of it with them. When we come back, we'll look at the rest of the Peach Belt Conference schedule today and try to figure out how things sort out for next week's Peach Belt Conference tournament. That'll be coming your way in just a few minutes. 1-0 the score. Columbus State in front of UNC Pembroke at the half. Stephen Williams back here with you at the Walden Soccer Complex in Columbus, Georgia. Cougar Sports TV, your home for Columbus State Athletics, and right now at the half, the Lady Cougars up 1-0 on UNC Pembroke in the regular season finale. Shelby Rowling, the difference in the match to this point, a 16th minute goal off a deflection coming off a Columbus State corner kick. And since that point, it's been all Columbus State, but only one goal on the board as they lead at 14-0 in shots over the Lady Braves through 45 minutes of action. This, the regular season finale, and a win for the Lady Cougars results in a share of the regular season championship in the Peach Belt Conference. It would be the first time Lady Cougars have won conference, regular season, or tournament since 2010. That's a program that, along with Armstrong Atlantic State University, has dominated women's soccer in this conference, but Armstrong has owned the last couple of years, and for the first time since 2005, a team other than those two has won any kind of championship in women's soccer, as Clayton State ended up as one of the teams with at least a share of the conference regular season title. Clayton State has guaranteed themselves the number one spot in next week's Peach Belt Conference tournament. Columbus State and Lander vying for the final two spots at the top, both of them holding their fate in their own hands today. With a win, Columbus State becomes a share of the regular season crown and also the number 2 seed in the conference tournament. Lander, who takes on Armstrong at 3:30 this afternoon, if they were to win too, they would also share the regular season crown. There's never been a three-way tie in the Peach Belt Conference as far as women's soccer is concerned, but that could happen this year. And if it does, Clayton's the 1, Columbus State is the 2, and Lander's the 3 based on all the head-to-head tiebreakers that go into effect at that point. Columbus State, though, has got 45 more minutes before they can worry about anything like that. They can wrap things up for themselves by just winning this one. For Jay Entlick, his group back out there in the all-white home uniform, switching sides to the right side of the field now. They'll work left as you're looking at it. Going with his same 11, Malin Parsons in the net, along with Andy Larice and Becca Calder in the back corners. Casey Davis and Jessica Sauer, the center backs for him. Shelby Rowling in the midfield, along with Taylor Marks and Kelsey Pelletier. Corsione, Chelsea Pearson, and Mandy Janowitz, his 3 forwards along the front line. UNC Pembroke, it's similar formation to how it went in half number 1. 1 forward, that being Rashana Campbell. 5 in the midfield, 4 on the back line, and then Claire Tracy, the freshman midfielder, playing in net for them. Lady Cougars will have opening possession again. 14 shots for them in the first half. None for UNC Pembroke, but it only resulted in a 1-0 score on the board. UNC Pembroke choosing to play pretty much only defense today, with just the 1 forward, down some of the players that they're down. Their roster limitations have forced them into that style with 9 players on defense along with their goalie. So they've been watching Columbus State with attack after attack after attack, but have been able to hold them off the board with the exception of 1 time. Sanchez getting the start in this half for UNC Pembroke. Nightorp, the one who is on the bench in her place. Other than that, they're the same. Fisher, Lundberg, Stiles, and Jordan, along with Watkins, Brown, Hernandez, Gessen, and then Tracy in the net. UNC Pembroke, a tie in its last match, a win in the match before that, so hasn't been defeated over its last 2 matches as Becca Calder works in the center of the field. The pass to the near side is going to be too strong, intended for Mandy Janowitz. And over the sideline for a Pembroke throw. Lady Cougars trying to finish it out with a 3-game winning streak. Trying to wrap it up with 3 straight wins after they had back-to-back losses a couple of weeks back. Lost matches to Clayton State and to North Georgia. Since then, they've knocked off Lander and Montevallo and trying to finish it off here before next week's Peach Belt Conference tournament action. Rolling on the far side of the field near the corner. Drops it back. Calder will drive toward the box with the left foot. Has it deflected in the box, still alive. Rolling's cross, deflected. That'll fly out of the field of play, and it'll be a CSU corner kick coming up. Lady Cougars had 3 of those in half number 1. They get one early here in the second. They'll go short corner with it. Looking to get it into the center. Pelletier driving towards the net, and they'll get another corner kick out of it. Again, UNC Pembroke's strategy has just been clear it. Nothing else. They're not trying to get on the attack, just clear it away. At some point, though, that'll have to change with them down a goal. They'll have to try to attack at some point. Taylor Marks will try the traditional corner that time. Bounced around in the box and finally poked away. Janowitz on the run, working against Brown. Brown ultimately came away to take it from her, though. And Pembroke, one of the rare times, the ball coming across midfield. Campbell working one-on-one with Davis. Sauer in the center. They cross it. Deflected that time by Sauer. Calder trying to track it down. Yeston on the far side. Crosses. Davis gets it out of the zone. Again, every stat says this has been all Columbus State. Yet the Lady Braves still just one shot away from tying the match up at 1. Columbus State throw as the ball rolls into the CSU bench on the side. Columbus State with a lot more to play for in addition to just a share of the regular season crown, as Corsione tries to drive towards the box. As it go over the inline, it'll be a goal kick coming up. Columbus State also trying to vie for a regional host spot as well. Last year, as one of the top 2 teams in the region, they ended up as a host of the first and second round, also as a host of it in one of the top 2 teams out of the region. You get a bye in the Southeast region in that first round. Don't have to play until the Sunday of NCAA tournament opening weekend. Most recent region rankings had the Lady Cougars in the 3rd spot. Lenore Rhine was sitting in the top spot. Wingate was 2nd, and Columbus State was right there behind them in 3rd. A lot of factors that go into that: win percentage, strength of schedule, non-conference opponents, head-to-head, common opponents. There's a lot of different categories as Columbus State called for the foul on the far side of the field. So every little bit matters as Columbus State trying to bump up in those region rankings and earn themselves a host spot. When it comes to the 3rd and 4th rounds of the NCAA tournament, the South and Southeast regions get paired up with each other, and they rotate every year. One year the South gets to host, one year the Southeast gets to host, and Columbus State's trying to become the Southeast team that could get to host it and potentially have rounds 1, 2, 3, and 4 of the NCAA tournament all here. So there's a lot of things still at play for Jay Entlich's group over the next week and a half. Campbell racing for this one. Davis the one tracking it with her. Casey just hits it over the sideline. It'll be a throw coming up. They chip it back to Sanchez on the near side. Her crossing pass that time deflected by Larice. And for the first time today, UNC Pembroke will have a corner kick opportunity. Coming down to the near side, it'll be Stiles that'll take the corner kick for Pembroke. From the near side, really the first opportunity towards the net UNC Pembroke has had. Into the center of the box. It gets through everybody. Headed up by Campbell. And Malin Parsons jumps up and picks the ball out of the air. So Campbell got a head on it in the center of the box. UNC Pembroke as close as it's gotten to the net through the first 50-plus minutes of this one. They have their first shot on the board now. Still 1-0, though, the score. Columbus State in front by a goal. Pearson crosses, but the cross ends up in the midst that time of Tracy. Pelletier was on the backside of that had it gotten through, but Tracy jumped out, took it out of the air, and was able to get rid of it. Tuesday night next week, we're back here at the Walden Soccer Complex. Peach Belt Conference Tournament quarterfinals. All four of the quarterfinal matches played at the home site of the better seed. Columbus State has guaranteed themselves that. They will be either the 2 or the 3 in next week's conference tournament, depending on the outcome of this one. If they were to win, they'll wrap up the number 2 seed, and they'll host whoever the number 7 is, which very well could be the same UNC Pembroke team. They could play 2 times in 4 days if that were to hold. But regardless of who the opponent is, we'll be here on Tuesday night. The time still to be determined. But the opening round here on Tuesday, the semifinals Friday from Evans, Georgia. And then the Peach Belt Conference Tournament Championship Sunday from Evans, Georgia. Blanchard Woods Park, where they play over across the state just outside of Augusta. Lady Cougars falling last year in that tournament championship match. Looking to get back for another time this year. Taylor Marks has her shot that time blocked. Kept alive. Pelletier has it in the box. Tries to cross it. Deflected by Brown, and Columbus State will earn the corner kick. Columbus State has had its share of opportunities from the corner so far. This will be their 7th one of the match, and again, they choose to go short with it for Larice, whose cross goes towards the back post and headed away. It'll stay in Columbus State possession, but headed out of the box. Rolling with the center. Finds the head of Taylor Marks, and right at the goalkeeper, Tracy. That time, Columbus State was able to get the head on the ball and put the ball on the net, but Tracy makes the save. For the field player in goal, that's her 3rd save of the afternoon. 16 shots now for CSU. Two coaches, Lars Anderson, Jay Entlich, very similar in the fact that they're the only head coach that their program has ever seen. Jay Entlich starting this program at CSU back in 2004 in his 10th year. Lars Anderson in his 13th season. Previously at his alma mater, formerly Cumberland College up there in Kentucky. Also coached men's soccer at Reinhardt College. Prior to that, he's in his 20th season as a collegiate head coach. These two have built these programs from the ground up. Janowitz, left side of the box, again deflected by Brown. That one will stay inside the sideline, though. And it'll be a deep CSU throw coming up. Larice, the one that comes to the near side to take it. Goes into Corsione. The cross blocked. Again, the Lady Braves continue to just take on the onslaught of attacks from Columbus State. Hadn't resulted in goals, though. It's been just one so far. Calder wins the foot race to it, but it ends up with Campbell on the opposite end. She tries to throw it forward, going for Watkins. Davis got to it first for CSU, though, and cleared it out of bounds. UNC Pembroke, a couple of opportunities, more than they had in half number one. That's a waste of a throw that time by Sanchez, though. Goes right past everyone, all the way out of bounds. It's UNC Pembroke team, only with 14 players dressed, only 3 people over on the sideline to sub in. So not only do they have players out of position, and not only are they not trying to really attack and mostly playing defense, but then they don't have very many subs to go to as well, and it makes things very, very difficult for this Lady Brave squad. It's a CSU throw coming up inside the near corner on the Pembroke side of the field. As we work here in the 58th minute of action from Columbus, Georgia. Stephen Williams here with you on Cougar Sports TV. Pearson had it taken away from her that time by Jasmine Jordan. And then Chelsea returns the favor, goes right back to go get it. Kept it in play on the in line, avoided the corner, and gets rid of it. Again, basketball exhibition for Jonathan Norton's Lady Cougars coming up from the Lumpkin Center in about 40 minutes from now. 3 o'clock, the tip time from the Lumpkin Center. Reinhardt College, the team in town to kick off the 2013-14 basketball season for CSU. 20 minutes ago, they started down in Savannah at Armstrong, Casey Cornett's Lady Cougar volleyball team, trying to hand Armstrong its first loss of the season. The Pirates 21-0 after they swept Montevallo last night. So we'll keep an eye on how that one's going down there in Savannah. Davis in a foot race to go get it. Deflected that time on the clear by Watkins. Goes over the end line, and Malin Parsons will have a chance at a goal kick here. Parsons hadn't been very busy so far. Defense hasn't allowed UNC Pembroke to have many shots get anywhere near the net. They've taken just one shot so far. (16-1) the edge in that department. UNC Pembroke's only shot coming off a header attempt on a corner by Rayshawna Campbell. Malin Parsons was able to come up with a save for it. Closing out the regular season, Lady Cougars, again, double-figure wins for them this year. It's become the commonplace for this program under Jay Entlick. Double-digit wins in every season except for the first one back in 2004. Janowitz in the box, left foot shot, high and wide to the left side of the net. Janowitz turned and ripped it, but off target. Today, if the Lady Cougars could finish it off, they would get win number 13. Outside of that opening year in 2004, this program has never won fewer than 15 games over the course of the season. So they need a couple more wins in postseason play in order to get to that 15 number. That was back in 2005, year 2 of this program. They've been in the NCAA tournament each of the last 7 years. Last year making it to the third round where they lost a scoreless draw in penalty kick shootouts to conference rival Armstrong. Year before that, the previous 2 years before that, losing in the second round of the NCAA tournament. So trying to get back there this year. But first, the Peach Belt Conference tournament. Crossing pass that time by Corsione. Missed by Pearson, and then Calder trying to shoot it from outside the box and hit it high at the crossbar. Corsione at a stinging low pass that time. Pearson just couldn't get a foot on it. CSU now with 18 shots on the board. Still only one of them, though, in the net. It's still just 1-0. This has been the style that UNC Pembroke's been forced to play. They're going to try to keep you low scoring because they know that they're not going to have too many opportunities at it. UNC Pembroke, since it lost its goalkeeper Bennett, 3 separate matches, it's had single-digit shots. So it's used this strategy since Lars Anderson has had his hand really forced into something like this, as the foul was called against UNC Pembroke on their side of the field. They had just 7 shots in a 3-2 loss to Lenore Rhine back on the 16th. They took just 4 shots in a scoreless tie with North Georgia. Took just 7 shots in a scoreless tie on Wednesday at home against USC Aiken. Right now, just 1 shot. They've had 4 shots put on the board, 3 separate occasions this season. Never been held below that, though. So far, just the 1. And it really hasn't been many other opportunities. That's the problem right there. Every time they try to leave it forward, Campbell is the only one playing on the offensive side of the field, and she can't track everything down. Haven't replaced her at all in the match either, so she's played every second of this one. This is Campbell on the move, 1-on-4. Her shot attempt that time deflected, and then Parsons scrambles out to save it. You can add another one to the board for Campbell and UNC Pembroke. So there's 2. Far corner of the field, Corstione over there forcing the hand of Jasmine Jordan, who chooses to just play it over the sideline. So CSU will have the throw, but it'll be a sub coming on prior to that happening. Chelsea Pearson will come off the field, and Blakely Heidemann, the sophomore from Auburn, Alabama, will move in and play in the front line as she did the other night. Heinemann instantly got a hit on that one, flicked it backwards, but it was cleared out of the box. Again, Jay Enlick using some different formations, some different players in different spots here in the last week or so. He's stuck with the move where Shelby Rolling's been in the midfield. Jessica Sauer has dropped back to play the center back spot. The other night, late in the match, he moved Blakely Heidemann, subbed her in, played her as a forward. She's usually a defender for this squad, but used her as a forward the other night, and he's choosing to do so again right now. Janowitz fighting with Brown for the ball right in front of the CSU bench on the near side. Janowitz able to win it away. Now Janowitz forced to battle with Sanchez for it, as it's finally just cleared over the sideline that time on the part of Lundberg. Double sub coming in for the game now for CSU. Corsione will sit down, as does Janowitz. So the 3 forwards that started the half for CSU have come off. Courtney Jackway onto the field, along with Jackie Hellett. Jackway seeing her first action of the afternoon. This is Courtney with it down. Tries to drop it left. Pelletier, the one in pursuit. And again, UNC Pembroke just chooses to hit it out of bounds. Larice into the center of the box. Got over the head of Jackway and cleared by Jordan. CSU, though, with everybody playing up right there to take every clearance. Hellett back for Rolling into the center. Jackway touches it. Heidemann tries a shot, rolls one to the left post, and it's just wide of the mark. Heidemann tried to sting that one across the ground. Got it all the way to the net, but it was wide left. So Columbus State continues its offensive barrage, but can't find anything into the net just yet. Just the one goal back in minute number 16 from Shelby Rolling. Her third of the year. That goal for Shelby Rolling made her the 7th player on this Columbus State roster with at least 3 goals. That one touched last by Hellett on the far side. Winds up in a goal kick. And again, it's Savannah Stiles that does the goal kicking for UNC Pembroke. Claire Tracy, the freshman midfielder, the one who plays in the net, with Brittany Bennett out for the year with an injury. So Tracy only kicks the ball when she picks it up in play. Doesn't pick it up off of goal kicks. Heidemann into the center of the box, headed out. Stiles got a hit on that one. And this time Lundberg throws it a long way upfield. Davis tracking it. Will just hit it over to the far side where Calder keeps it in play. Again, they're forced to play the long lead passes, and Campbell right now wasn't able to outrun the 2 players of CSU to get to it. Larice streaking down the near side of the field, dribbles into the center. Drops it off for Hellett, left side of the box. Hellett will turn and fire, and that one will be well over the mark. Strategy hasn't changed for the Lady Braves. They're going to continue to play defense. We'll see at what point. We're down to 21 minutes left. At one point, trailing by a goal, do they choose to try and gamble and put another offensive player up? So far, it's just been the one forward for them. 1 forward, 5 midfielders, 4 defenders. We'll see when Lars Anderson chooses to change that strategy up. That ball touched last by Watkins on the clear attempt by Davis. Gives it back to CSU. UNC Pembroke's had the ball on their side of the field more in this second half than they did in half number 1, but it hasn't necessarily been in scoring chances. The ball's just been on that side of the field. That one deflected off of Jackway. Gives it back to UNC Pembroke. Down at 20 minutes to go, working in the 71st minute of action here from Columbus, Georgia. Again, it's been all about spacing for Columbus State so far. Plenty of room to work as long as you're spaced out well. Haven't been forced to play much defense to this point. Heidemann on the far side of the field now, trying to lead the action. She'll cut back to the center, trade places with Jackie Hellett. Rolling now, directing traffic in the middle. To the left side, Larice, right at the sideline. Got around Sanchez, the defender, right at the box with the right foot, high, and grabbed out of the air that time by Tracy. So Larice that time put the shot on the net. Hellett was going after it too. If she could have gotten a hit on it, would have had a chance at it. But Tracy jumps up, makes the save. That's her 4th. Again, the Lady Braves need just one opportunity right now. Still a 1-0 game. Doesn't matter what the rest of the stats say. Forward that time, the ball goes, and it'll wind up in the stomach of Malin Parsons that time. Watkins the one who hit it towards the net. So 3 shots now for UNC Pembroke. Parsons has made a save on 2 of them. as the other shot was deflected. 1-0 where we stand, 17 minutes and change to go here on this Saturday afternoon. Hellett coming down the near side of the field, able to track it down before it rolled out of bounds. And finally, it's just slid out that time by Stiles, and Columbus State will have corner kick opportunity number 8 now coming up. They go short corner, leave it for Pelletier. She'll touch it back. Larice surveys the defense. And the cross pass too far beyond the far post. And another opportunity by the wayside for Columbus State with 17 minutes to go. Julia Nighthorpe, the sophomore from Sweden, will sub in for the first time in the half for Pembroke. It'll be Geston that comes off. Nighthorpe started the match for Lars Anderson, but didn't start the second half. That was the first sub that the Lady Braves have made here in this second set of 45 minutes. We've got players, most of them on the field, that have played the entire match to this point. Taylor Marks just takes it away, and now it's Pelletier in the center. Leaves it for Jackway. Jackway has it taken away, though. Nighthorpe steps in front of her. Towards the net it goes, out in front of Jackway. Tracy came out to scoop it up. Lady Cougars looking to end the regular season 13-5-0. And then head into Tuesday night's conference tournament action. Trying to hold on for the final 15 minutes, near 16 minutes of this one, to capture a share of the Peach Belt Conference Championship. Lady Cougars haven't had that since 2010. Hellett moving towards the box. Another corner kick coming up for CSU. Before that happens, though, Shea Wilby will run on. Courtney Jackway will be the one that comes off. 1-0 the score. Columbus State searching for a little padding here late in the match. Taylor Marks on the far side, set to take the corner. Kelsey Pelletier there for the short one, should they choose it. Marks, though, lines up, and she's going to hit it into the middle of the box, and that one's bounced down by Tracy, and another corner kick coming up. So back-to-back corner attempts for Columbus State, and they're now into double figures. They have 10 of them. See how they choose to play this one. They've played the majority of them short, and that's how they'll go this one as well. This time leaving it for Calder. She'll hit it into the center. Winds up on the foot of Hellett, who drops it back. Pelletier, centering pass. Got over the head of Jackie Hellett, who was trying to finish it off. Got all the way across to the opposite side of the field, and it's cleared away. Columbus State's only goal of the match did come off a corner kick. Taylor Marks' corner was punched out by Tracy, but only to about 8 or 10 yards, and Shelby Rolling then had it on her left foot, where she knocked it into the net that time. Columbus State will have the throw deep on their end. As Larice is set to trigger it in from the near side of the field. Working now in the 77th minute of action. Larice into the center, headed away. Off a couple of different players, and it ends up with Pelletier. 2 defenders in front of her, has Larice behind her. Kelsey instead will go to the center with Marks. Columbus State trying to shift sides, force the defense to make up the ground. Again, all about spacing right now offensively. Marks turns, goes back to the opposite side. Pelletier now. Driving towards the end line and ran out of real estate. Over the end line it goes. I'm going to say last touch, though, by the Lady Braves, so another corner kick opportunity coming up. It's been one after the other for Columbus State this afternoon. Trying to make another one go through. Marks again at the near corner this time. Is going to try it the traditional way. To the back end of the box, though, and headed away. Rolling will chip it back to the center. Shea will be there, but had it go over her head, and Jordan got it. Forward pass that time. Finds Casey Davis. UNC Pembroke with it now again on their side of the field. Just 12 minutes to go, but trailing by just a single goal. 1-0 where it stands. They try to go to the center with it, and Jessica Sauer comes out to get it away. Jordan kept it alive for the Lady Braves. And finally, Taylor Marks will be the one that'll clear it to midfield. Brown keeps it on the plus side for UNCP. Sanchez with it now. Again deflected away. And Sauer will drop it off, and Columbus State will counter the opposite direction. Heidemann working on the far side of the field. Had her pass deflected and cleared away. Malin Parsons hasn't been forced to do much in net. She's 11 minutes away from a third shutout for her this season. Columbus State has 6 of them for the year. They're looking for their 7th. They're working on a streak, though, as they get 3 subs coming in. McNair, Pearson, and Corsione will come in. Pelletier, Hellett, and Sauer come off. Brittany McNair in for the first time. The sophomore from Mississippi. Pearson and Corsione return to the front line. Columbus State, though, 8 straight seasons has had double-digit shutouts as a team. And that's a streak that is in danger of coming to a close this year. They have just 6 of them right now. If they could finish the final 10 minutes and 20 seconds of this one off, they would get their 7th. But they would need to have played outstanding defense and gone a decent distance into the postseason to get it into double figures. Shot attempt that time by Taylor Marks from outside the box is high over the crossbar. For Columbus State, that was shot number 22. Again, this has been a program that's played really good defense. Last year, they were very good defensively, struggled on the offensive side of the field. This year, a little bit differently. Scored a lot of goals, but they've given up more than they're used to giving up. The forward pass that time by Watkins, too far out in front of Sanchez, and a goal kick for Parsons coming up with 9.5 minutes to go. See if UNC Pembroke has one final attempt ready and in the holster. So far, they've taken just 3 shots on the afternoon. See if they put all hands on deck going forward. Sanchez frustrated with herself there after that touch. Ended up all the way over with Becca Calder as Columbus State again starts the attack. Pass from Heidemann. Split 2 Columbus State players and was cleared away. 22-3. The edge in shots, but again, it's just 1-0 on the scoreboard. So UNC Pembroke in perfect position. All they need is just 1 to tie this one up. Pearson after a long rest. Down the near side of the field. Corsione had stopped running for it. Can't catch up to it, and it's cleared over the sideline by Brown. A deep throw for the Lady Cougars, and Chelsea Pearson back on the field, the one that'll go take it again. Pearson into the center of the box. Long throw headed on by Corsione. Tracy trying to scramble to go get it and wins the race to the ball. Heidemann and Wilby were after it on the right side, but Tracy got to it first. Tracy's done a nice job for someone who was not a goalkeeper, playing in her 6th match as a goalie in her freshman season. I'm sure that wasn't on the list of things she wanted to try when she enrolled there at UNC Pembroke. May have been on the list of things she wanted to, but not the things she expected to. As that one ends up in the arms of the CSU bench. Sub coming on for UNC Pembroke. Watkins sits down. It's Hannah Baisden that's back in. She subbed in late in the first half, played a few minutes. In for the first time here in the second. Foot race now to go get this one. And Parsons will go to pick it up with 2 hands. Campbell was after it. Rolling and Davis were shielding her off. With Jessica Sauer out of the game, Shelby Rolling has moved from the midfield back to her usual center back position. So she's back there paired up with Casey Davis in the middle. It's Calder and Larice on the outside on the defensive line. This is Corsione. That time it was deflected, and CSU gets the corner kick coming up once again. Taylor Marks on the far side of the field will take the corner kick. Columbus State in double digits in that department for the 4th time this season. This one goes into the box. Headed away again. McNair's shot attempt was blocked. And Brittany will keep it alive as Marks back into the center. Headed on, and it'll finally find the net. Taylor Marks chipped it into the center. Flicked backwards with the head by Shea Wilby. And Chelsea Pearson, the one who puts it into the left side of the net, and the Lady Cougars are finally back on the board. On the 24th shot for CSU, they finally get their 2nd goal of the match. So 2-0, Columbus State in front now. Chelsea Pearson with the goal for her. That's her 8th of the season. Pulls her within 1 of Nicole Corsione for the team lead. Foul coming up from behind that time against Pearson. 5:15 to go now. Columbus State on its way to what looks like a share of the Peach Belt Conference regular season championship. It's at least a 2-way tie, potential for a 3-way tie depending on if Lander can knock off Armstrong in a match that starts 45 minutes from now. Columbus State set to close out the regular season with 3 straight wins. 13-5 overall, 9-2 in conference play if they finish this one off. And they will become the number 2 seed in next week's Peach Belt Conference tournament. Calder on the far side of the field, 4:15 to go. Columbus State set to close this one off. Calder dribbling it towards the center, crosses it. Pearson ends up with it, working in the wrong direction though. Chelsea will just leave it forward on the left side of the field for Larice. Columbus State has controlled this one throughout, and they're now just 4 minutes away from their first conference championship since 2010. Corsione trying to run this one down. Sprayed over the sideline by Stiles. 2-0 the score. Columbus State in front with 3 minutes left now. Pearson tripped up at the edge of the box, cleared away. Calder hits it back into play, where it's Jordan for UNC Pembroke that has it headed in the opposite direction. Searching for their 7th shutout of the year, needing just to hold UNC Pembroke off the board for 2.5 minutes. Again, it could be these same two teams that match up 3 days from now in the Peach Belt Conference Tournament quarterfinal round on this field, depending on what happens later this afternoon with USC Aiken. They are at home at 5 o'clock tonight to take on North Georgia. If USC Aiken were to win, they hold the tiebreaker over UNC Pembroke and therefore would be the 7th seed, and that's who Columbus State would play. If North Georgia ties or beats USC Aiken, it's UNC Pembroke that's coming right back here on Tuesday night. So it could very well be this same matchup coming up on Tuesday night. The rest of the seeding and everything still to be determined, with 4 more conference games to take place following the conclusion of this one. 2-0 the score, 75 seconds to go. The Lady Cougars are going to have a share of the regular season championship. Came into the year with practically a brand new squad. Lost so many players from their team a year ago that went to the 3rd round of the NCAA tournament. So much leadership, so much of the scoring, a lot of the defensive line. This year, though, they're going to come away with a share of the conference championship. 35 seconds now, standing in between them. We'll have head coach Jay Inlick up here with us following the conclusion of this one, as his team is going to capture what would be their 7th regular season championship. Down to 12 seconds as the fans start to applaud. The clock ticks under 10, and Columbus State, with a 2-0 victory, has captured its 7th regular season championship of the Peach Belt Conference. Shelby Rolling in the 16th minute of action put Columbus State on the board. Her 3rd goal of the season made it 1-0 for the Lady Cougars. They went to halftime that way. And then in the second half, after a ton of shots had been put on the board, the Lady Cougars finally were able to get another one to find the net. It was a double assist on the part of Taylor Marks and Shay Wilby, turning in the effort for CSU that ended up adding an extra cushion to it as Chelsea Pearson found the back of the net in the box for CSU and closed things out, giving them a 2-0 victory over this UNC Pembroke team, a scrappy bunch that has struggled this season due to some of the injuries they have suffered. But a bunch that came in here and fought for a long time. A lot of defensive play made by them. But the Lady Cougars pick up the victory, and they end up with a 2-0 win and a share of the conference championship as Lady Cougar head coach Jay Itlick walks up in here and will give us some of his thoughts as we wrap things up from the Walden Soccer Complex. Coach, before we get into what it means for the conference championship here, first, has to be a little bit frustrating for your girls to see a style of game like that where they try and try and try, but so much defense there, it's a struggle to get the ball in the net.
No, and it's hard, guys. Credit goes to UNC Pembroke. They do. Lars Anderson's a terrific coach, and he lost a couple key injuries early on the year, and he has done a great job with the girls that he has, and they make it tough, and it's hard whether we were pinning them in or they were playing out of a bunker defense. It's irregardless. But yeah, they made it tough. I give my hat off to them. They're a great team, and I have so much respect for Pembroke.
You're back on the board now as a conference champion, first time since 2010. We came into this year and we talked in preseason. You said, I don't know, you can't ask me about this team because I know nothing about them. You're to this point now. Did you think this team had the potential to do this?
Well, we always believed, and we had a great spring. And heck, anytime you lose 9 starters from the year before, you're kind of going into uncharted waters. But some of these kids worked extremely hard in the off season, and we're willing to put forth extra effort and extra sessions with our coaching staff, Coach Rade, Coach Mary, Coach Kyle, and Coach Caitlin. I mean, they wanted to win, and so it made it all worth it.
It's a young bunch, doesn't have a ton of postseason experience. You have any idea what to expect when things start again on Tuesday night?
It's we got to regroup right now and recover. We expended a lot of energy today, as did UNC Pembroke, and we got to go back to work tomorrow, the recovery day, and just understand that just because we're conference champions does not mean that we get an automatic bid to the NCAA postseason. So we are of the mindset we have to win the conference tournament in order to get a bid. So we got to go win 3 games. I mean, it's turned into a 1-game season now.
Well, Coach, congratulations. Another conference championship for you and another victory today.
Great. Thank you, Stephen.
Head Coach Jay Itlick, as we wrap things up here from the Walden Soccer Complex. We're back here on Tuesday night as the Lady Cougars will take on an opponent still to be determined, USC Aiken or UNC Pembroke, the team that will be in town. It depends on how things go for USC Aiken later on this afternoon in their match at home against North Georgia. We do know, though, the Lady Cougars have shared the Peach Belt Conference regular season championship, the first time they have won a regular season or tournament crown since 2010, and they are the number 2 seed in the Peach Belt Conference Tournament. They'll take on the number 7 Tuesday night. Make sure you're tuned in to CSUCougars.com to find out later on this evening exactly who it is the Lady Cougars will be playing and what time. But regardless of what it is and who's here, we'll have it on the air for you here on Cougar Sports TV Tuesday night from the Walden Soccer Complex here in Columbus, Georgia. So looking forward to that. It's a 2-0 victory for the Lady Cougars. Chelsea Pearson and Shelby Rolling the 2 goals. And the Lady Cougars close out the regular season 13-5 overall and 9-2 in Peach Belt Conference play. Until Tuesday night, for everyone here at Columbus State University and Cougar Sports TV, this is Stephen Williams saying so long from Columbus, Georgia.